All right. So Spirit wants me to read from the Holy Book, and I'm at Ezekiel 14. Um, I don't know who this is for, but we're gonna read it. Um, some of the elders of Israel came to me and sat down in front of me. Then the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, these men have set up idols in their hearts and put wicked stumbling blocks before their faces. Should I let them inquire of me at all? Therefore I speak to them and tell them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. When any of the Israelites set up idols in their hearts and put up a wicked stumbling block before their faces, and then go to a prophet, I the Lord will answer them myself in keeping with their great idolatry. I will do this to recapture their hearts of the people of Israel, who have all deserted me for their idols. Therefore I will say to the people, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Repent, turn away from your idols, and renounce all of your detestable practices. When any of the Israelites or any foreigner residing in Israel separated themselves from me and set up idols in their hearts and put a wicked stumbling block before their faces, and then go to a prophet to inquire of me, I, the Lord, will answer them myself. I will set my face against them and make them examples and byword. I will remove them from my people. Then you will know that I am the Lord. And if the prophet is enticed to utter a prophecy, I, the Lord, have enticed that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand against him and destroy him from among my people, Israel. They will bear their guilt. The prophet will be as guilty as the one who consults him. Then the people of Israel will no longer stray from me, nor will they defile themselves any more with their sins. They will be my people, and I will be their God, declares the sovereign Lord. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, if a country sins against me by being unfaithful, I will stretch out my hand against it to cut off its food supply. I will send famine among it and kill its people and their animals. Even if these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they could save only themselves by their righteousness, declares the Lord. Or if I send wild beasts through that country, and they leave it childless, and it becomes desolate, so no one can pass through it because of the beast. As surely I live, declares the sovereign Lord, even these three men were in it. They could not save their own sons and daughters. They alone would be saved, but the land would be desolate. Or if I bring a sword against that country and say, let the sword pass throughout the land, and I kill its people and animals, surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, even if these 3 men were in it, they could not save their own sons and daughters. They alone would be saved. Or if I send a plague into that land and pour out my wrath on it through bloodshed, killing its people and their animals, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, even if Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, they could neither save son nor daughter. They would save only themselves by their righteousness. For this is what the sovereign Lord says: how much worse will it be when I send against Jerusalem my 4 dreadful judgments, sword and famine and wild beasts and plague, to kill its men and their animals. Yet there will be some survivors, sons and daughters, who will be brought out of it. They will come to you, and when you see their conduct and their actions, you will be consoled regarding the disaster I've brought on Jerusalem, every disaster I have brought on it. You will be consoled when you see their conduct and their actions, for you will know that I have done nothing in it without cause, declares the sovereign Lord. I'm being guided to read verse 15 as well. Excuse me. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, this is chapter 15. Excuse me. Okay, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, how is the wood of the vine different from that of a branch from any of the trees in the forest? Is wood ever taken from it to make anything useful? Do they make pegs from it to hang things on? And after it is thrown on the fire as fuel, and the fire burns both ends and chars the middle, is it then useful for anything? If it is not useful for anything when it was whole, how much less can it be made into something useful when the fire has burned it and it is charred? Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says: As I have given the wood of the vine among the trees of the forest as fuel for the fire, so I will treat the people living in Jerusalem. I will set my face against them. Although they have come out of the fire will yet consume them. And when I set my face against them, you will know that I am Lord. I will make the land desolate because they have been unfaithful, declares the sovereign Lord. Sheesh. Yo. These are basically prophecies for people serving amongst God's people that are being idolatrous, and they are putting things before God. And it doesn't have to be physical, it can be mental. So putting an idol before God is crazy. because he is the only and true truth in this world. Um, the source of all life. He breathed everything into existence. So giving anything credit over him is insane. Um, Not from a religious point of view, from a very spiritual point of view. The source. If you think of it as a source, the universe is not the source. Let's just be real. The universe is what the source created. And the source of all being is God, the Most High, right? Yahweh. Okay. He wants me to read 16. Sheesh, this is long. Alright, damn. Okay, I'll read 16, and I want y'all to read the rest of Ezekiel from 16 to okay. Ezekiel 17 to 32. You can read more if you want to, because it's saying I'm hearing like all of this is like, whew, boy. All of Ezekiel is just prophecy over like what's going to happen to God's people and how he's going to raise up people out of captivity, out of self-idolatry, and like also idolatry that's mental and physical, by basically eliminating the people that are doing such idolatry. Or if the person is righteous, he is cutting off the idolatry, or like he's sparing some, and he's restoring, resurrecting his people. He's resurrecting Israel, and yeah, read Ezekiel from 17. Well, once I'm done with this, 17 to 48. Like, this is what's really going on, like, right now. And Spirit confirms, yes. This is really what's going on right now. I'm gonna read 16 and leave y'all with that. Let's see. Jerusalem as an adulterous wife. That's the title. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, confront Jerusalem with her detestable practices and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says to Jerusalem. Your ancestry and birth were in the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother was a Hittite. On the day you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to make you clean. So there was no baptism or spiritual baptism, nor were you rubbed with salt or wrapped in cloths. No one looked on you with pity or had compassion enough to do any of these things for you. Rather, you were thrown out into the open field. For on the day you were born desolate. For on the day you were born, you were despised. Then I passed by and saw you kicking about in your blood. And as you lay there in your blood, I said to you, live. I made you grow like a plant in the field. You grew and developed and entered puberty. Your breasts had formed and your hair had grown, yet you were stark naked. Later I passed by, and when I looked at you and saw that you were old enough for love, I spread the corner of my garment over you and covered your naked body. I gave you my solemn oath and entered into a covenant with you, declares the sovereign Lord, and you became mine. I bathed you with water and washed the blood from you, and put ointment on you. I clothed you with an embroidered dress and put the sandals of fine leather on you. I dressed you with fine linen and covered you with costly garments. I adorned you with jewelry. I put bracelets on your arms and a necklace around your neck. And I put a ring on your nose, earrings on your ears, and a beautiful crown on your head. So you were adorned with gold and silver. Your clothes were of fine linen, and costly fabric embroidered the cloth. Your food was honey, olive oil, and the finest flour. You became very beautiful and rose to be a queen, and your fame spread among the nations on account of your beauty, because the splendor I have given you made your beauty perfect, declares the sovereign Lord. But you trusted in your beauty and used your fame to become a prostitute. You lavished your favors on anyone who passed by, and your beauty became his. You took some of your garments to make gaudy high places where you carried on your prostitution. You went to him and he possessed your beauty. You also took the fine jewelry I gave you, the jewelry made of my gold and silver, and you made for yourself male idols and engaged in prostitution with them. And you took your embroidered cloths to put them on, and you offered my oil and incense before them. Also the food I provided for you, the flour, oil, and the honey I gave you to eat, you offered as fragrance incense before them. That is what happens, declares the sovereign. That's what happened, declares the sovereign Lord. And you took your sons and your daughters, whom you bore to me, and sacrificed them as food to the idols, Was your prostitution not enough? You slaughtered my children and sacrificed them to idols. In your detestable practices and your prostitution, you did not remember the days of your youth, when you were naked and bare, kicking about in your blood. Woe, woe to you, declares the sovereign Lord. In addition to all of other wickedness, you built a mound for yourself and made a lofty shrine in every public square. At every street corner, you built your lofty shrines and degraded your beauty, spreading your legs with increasing promiscuity to anyone who passed by. You engaged in prostitution with the Egyptians, your neighbors with large genitals, and aroused my anger with your increasing promiscuity. So I stretched out my hand against you and reduced your territory. I gave you over to the greed of your enemies, the daughters of the Philistines, who were shocked by your lewd conduct. You engaged in prostitution with the Assyrians too, because you were insatiable, and even after that, you were still not satisfied. Then you increased your promiscuity to include Babylonia, a land of merchants. But even with this, you were not satisfied. I am filled with fury against you, declares the sovereign Lord. When you do all of these things, acting like a brazen prostitute, when you built your mounds at every street corner and made your lofty shrines in every public square, you are unlike a prostitute because you scorned payment. You adulterous wife, you prefer strangers to your own husband. All prostitutes receive gifts, but you give gifts to all of your lovers, bribing them to come to you from everywhere in your elect favors. So in your prostitution, you are the opposite of others. No one runs after you or your favors. You are the very opposite, for you give payment and none is given to you. Therefore, you prostitute, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Because you poured out your lust, and you exposed your naked body in your promiscuity with your lovers, and because of all the detestable idols, and because you gave them to your children's blood. Therefore, I am going to gather all of your lovers with whom you found pleasure, those you loved as well as those you hated. I will gather them against you from all around and will strip you in front of them, and they will see you stark naked. I will sentence you to the punishment of the women who committed adultery and who shed blood. I will bring on you the blood vengeance of my wrath and jealous anger. Then I will deliver you into the hands of your lovers, and they will tear down your mounds and destroy your lofty shrines. They will strip you of your clothes and take your fine jewelry and leave you stark naked. They will bring a mob against you, who will stone you and hack you to pieces with their swords. They will burn down the houses and inflict punishment on you in the sight of many women. I will put a stop to your prostitution, and you will no longer pay with your lovers. Then my wrath against you will subside, and my jealous anger will turn away from you. I will be calm and no longer angry, because you did not remember the days of your youth, but enraged me with all of these things. I will surely bring you down. I will surely bring down on your head what you have done, declares the sovereign Lord. Did you not add lewdness to all of other detestable practices? Everyone who quotes Proverbs will quote this proverb about you. Like mother and daughter, you are a true daughter of your mother, who despised her husband and their children. And you are a true sister of your sisters, who have despised their husbands and their children. Your mother was a Hittite, and your father was an Amorite. Your older sister was a Samara, who lived to the north of you with her daughters, and your younger sister, who lived to the south of you with her daughters, was Sodom. You not only followed their ways and copied their detestable practices, but in all of your ways, you soon became more depraved than they. Surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, your sister Sodom and her daughters never did what you and your daughters have done. Now this was the sin against your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor or the needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me. Therefore I did away with them, as you had seen. Samaria did not commit half of the sins that you did. That you have alone done more detestable things than they, and have made your sister seem righteous by all these things you have done. Bear your disgrace, for you have furnished some justification for your sisters, because your sins were more vile than theirs. They appear more righteous than you. So then be ashamed and bear your disgrace, for you have made your sisters appear righteous. However, I will restore the fortunes of Sodom and her daughters, and of Samaria and her daughters, and your fortunes among them, so that you may bear the disgrace and be ashamed of all that you have done in giving them comfort. And your sisters Sodom with her daughters and Samaria with her daughters will return to what they were before, and you and your daughters will return to what they were before. You would not even mention your sister Sodom in the day of your pride, before your wickedness was uncovered. Even so, you are now scorned by the daughters of Edom, and all of her daughters, and all of her neighbors and the daughters of the Philistines, all those who all those around you who despise you. You will bear the consequence of your lewdness and your detestable practices, declares the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I will deal with you as you deserve, because you have despised my oath by breaking my covenant. And yet I will remember the covenant I made with you in the days of your youth, and I will establish an everlasting covenant with you. Then you will remember your ways and be ashamed when you receive your sisters, both who are older than you and those who are younger. I will give them to you as daughters, but not on the basis of my covenant with you. So I will establish my covenant with you, and you will know that I am Lord. Then I will make atonement for you for all you have done. You will remember and be ashamed, never again open your mouth because of your humiliation, declares the sovereign Lord. Damn, that's deep. But yeah, I suggest that you read the rest of Ezekiel, and it's like probably, let's see. If you feel guided to, it is like 42 pages, depending on what Bible you got. Actually, yeah, should be around that. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. Whoever this is talking about, I'm sure y'all know who this is about. This is what's going to happen, and this is what's happening. Yeah, I'm just getting on here to share this word, because the Holy Spirit had guided me to, and yeah, this is deep shit. Yeah, y'all know who this is, and shit, they about to go through it. Shit. God bless. God bless always. But yeah, I might come back on today and do another reading. But we'll see. I got a lot of things to do. I got time today, so I knocked some stuff out of the way. Kind of do some more work and vibe out a little bit. All right, y'all. Peace out. God bless.